What's up, YouTube? We got a yo-yo review to do today. This is the brand new one-drop yo-yos, Deeper State. Shout out to the dudes over at One Drop for sending this over. I love it. And the Deep State series, the line of yo-yos, the Deep State in general, is a yo-yo that is very important to me and is very, it's sentimental almost. So I'm going to start this off with sort of a, I don't know if it's kind of a sad story. It's a little uplifting, but it's also partially why the Deep State and the Deeper State now is just such a special and important yo-yo to me. So this was my first Deep State. I have two. We'll talk about both of these. A friend of mine got me this. She went to visit One Drop. They hadn't actually been released yet. And she was a friend of the channel. She was headed out to One Drop to see it, to visit the guys out there. And they let her, she got her own Deep State, and she put one together for me as well. And sent it over to me. I paid her for it. And I actually did get this a little bit before it released. And I reviewed it many moons ago. And it's always been one of my favorites. It's been used a ton. It's got little dings and nicks here. I've changed side effects plenty of times. And unfortunately, she passed away earlier this year, my friend. So this yo-yo is really very special to me now because now she's gone. And we'd never met in person. We met through yo-yo and online play and online yo-yo and stuff. And so she passed away this year, and so this yo-yo is very important to me. And in addition to that, One Drop then released several versions of the Deep State, and this one came out later. I think it came out in 2019 sometime, maybe even 2018. I've maybe had this for a while. And this one, I can't remember what the cause was for, but it was for a very good cause. And in loving the Deep State, I was like, well, so what you're telling me is I get an amazing yo-yo and I can do good all at the same time. So to me, the Deep State's been sort of more than a yo-yo. It's always sort of been kind of a symbol of just good, and how good the community is, and how good yo-yoing is, and how positive yo-yoing has been on my life. And so I really like these yo-yos, and I apologize for sort of being a bit solemn about that. But let's talk about the Deeper State. So the Deeper State just released, and as you can see, it shares a lot of similarities to the Deep State, but it's a little bigger, a little wider, and just a little more catchable, I think. It's still responsive out of the box. Here's the box. The One Drop box. Deeper State. And really is just, I mean, it's the next step. It's the next evolution. You want to tweak and make everything better? This is great. This plays just a little bit better. Let's just get into the specs here. So the weight is 52.3 grams, which I think is very good for a yo-yo that's supposed to come back to your hand. The width is 31.3 millimeters with a 56.8 millimeter diameter, so larger diameter than the original. Stock response is the One Drop flow groove response with a 3.3 millimeter gap, so it's a little bit of a tighter gap. Has the standard One Drop stainless steel 10 ball flat bearing. It's 6061 aluminum with a Purimatte finish and a tapped axle this time. The OG has the side effects tapped axle this time. So, different enough that if you like this, you're going to also like this, and you're going to want both. So I have all three of these, and you can pry them out of my cold dead hands because I will not be getting rid of any of them. This is a really cool yo-yo too because the price starts at $50 for solids, and I think they still maybe have some NQPs up. The link is down in the description. But not quite perfect NQP. Those start at $40. So if there's like some marks or some rings or some lines or something on it, just something that didn't quite go right, rather than toss them, as long as the yo-yos play good, One Drop will go ahead and mark them down for NQP, and you can get them at a discount and beat the hell out of them. So for a $50 price point, go buy it until they're gone, and then Yeah, I think the splashes are a little more, I mean like 60, but even the splashes look good. This is just a good looking yo-yo, and if you've never played responsive yo-yos before, if you've only kind of ever done unresponsive, this might be a great foray and a first jump into it. Let's go ahead and throw it around a little bit. I'll show you guys what I'm talking about and just how it plays in relation to the original one, in my opinion. And we'll go from there. Deeper state. All right. So upon first throw, you will notice how it is dead silent and responsive. One of my favorite things to do with the deep state has always sort of been flyaways. So that's basically getting into a mount, doing a little thing, and then flying away. This one's a lot easier to catch on the string than the original. Can handle some sort of not quite so responsive tricks. It's sort of, I hate to use the phrase semi-responsive, but that's kind of, I think, what they're going for here. It's not quite it's not quite unresponsive, not quite responsive, or super snappy responsive. I probably will end up just flooding the bearing with thick lube so that it's very snappy responsive. That's how I prefer to play, as opposed to sort of being able to half do stuff. It's this is quite responsive out of the box. This just showed up, and I haven't played it a ton, so it's still pretty responsive. But I haven't lubed it to make it more responsive. See, the cool thing about, like I said, about responsive play is if you do it right, you look cool. If you don't do it right, you look like an idiot. It's pull responsive, tug responsive. Handles the stalls. It's got a pretty high wall. You can kind of let the bearing clean up a little bit if you want, and like I said, it can be sort of semi-responsive as well, which is always nice. And just as a yo-yo, it feels nice to catch. It feels nice to play. Hop the fence. So, you know, kind of good for those old school tricks. And I don't know, something about just playing catch with yourself on a responsive yo-yo that just makes me feel relaxed. It makes me feel good. And this yo-yo feels good. It's very smooth, as you would expect, but it is like buttery smooth. A buttery smooth, delicious yo-yo. I really like the I really like everything about it. I just do. You know, like I said, I'm kind of looking like an idiot while I'm talking and playing it, but it's hard to talk and throw like responsive yo-yos because there's like different things going on. But this is just it's a lot of fun. And if you like the original, you're gonna like this one. And as we've covered, I love the original. That's why I have two. And man, this is sort of just like it's another step in that line. It's another. It feels like it's there, you know? It just feels like it's there. Let's go ahead and take this bad boy apart. Show you guys the insides, and we'll do pros and cons. All right, one drop deeper state. This is Zipline Strings. You're gonna want some zip lines. Zipline Strings for everything. This is Tainted Love. This is my signature colorway. It's pink and black and awesome. Maybe it's too fast for love. I don't know. So let's take a look at the non-bearing side here. So as you can see, very similar to the original. Very similar shape actually to the original one, just a little more flared. Flat, and then it's got a nice big flat surface there, and then there's a big flat wall there. That really is nice for catching stalls. So if you want to use this to like for stalls and stuff, actually I kind of think that this is a better setup for like stalls and responsive play in that regard than the original one. The original one I feel like is really more for sort of semi-responsive play, whereas this one I feel like is really set up very well for stalls and for semi-responsive play. So it really kind of does the stalls and things a lot better just because of how this sort of flat part is and how much bigger it is. One drop flow groove response is very good. It fits pretty much perfectly. It's perfect in there. There's the flow groove response in there. Very good. Solid response. Works really well for responsive yo-yo because it is very reliable. It's a reliable response. It doesn't slip, but it doesn't stick either. Very cool. The one drop 10 ball bearing. This one is lubed. The axle there, tapped side. So the cup I thought was cool too because it's got sort of a nipple there, and nice cut in there, cut to there. So it's very reminiscent of the original, but it's got its own thing going on. Clearly these aren't the same, but it's got a similar kind of thing going to it. More cuts and stuff, just to differentiate it. Obviously, and no side effect. So it's very different in that regard. Came apart beautifully, goes together. I love this purple too. I got the last yo-yo I got was this purple from One Drop. Super good. Goes together perfectly. Perfect machining. You know the drill with One Drop. Pure matte finish looks good. You're not really gonna do a lot of grinding on responsive yo-yos, but for your tape measure type tricks, this will work just fine. Just as good as every other pure matte finish, and I love it. It's very durable too. As you can see, this has hit many a thing, and there's very few little dings and scrapes on it. Still looks very good. So let's do pros and cons. Pros: inexpensive. So $50 for solids. It's what, 70 for 60 or 70 for splashes, depending on the splash. Really nice. Plays great. Does both semi-responsive thing very well as like stalls and stuff. If you want to flood the bearing with thick lube and make it really snappy, great for stalls. That's probably what I'm going to do with this. I wanted to leave it as is for the review, but I'll probably be flooding the bearing with some thick lube for just to make it work really snappy. And that's likely how I'll play it, is just for stalls and stuff like that. I need to get back into that. As you can see, I was struggling there. I haven't done much of that. As far as cons are concerned, I don't know. I kind of really enjoyed that I could change side effects on the original, so I'm missing that a little bit in this. I'd say that's really the only con, because in every other aspect, it actually just sort of is, I don't want to say performs better, but it's just a little bit better. It's a little bit easier to catch on the string. It handles stalls a little bit better. It's just a little bit overall in every way. It keeps the essence of the original while sort of improving as well. Like I said, the only thing I miss is the side effect, but that may just be me. That may just be a me thing. Otherwise, I love it. It's perfect. There's links in the description. Go get them now because they won't be around very long. Some colors are already sold out. Get them now. I just get it. Don't not get it. I'm sure they'll do extra runs, but if you want one, get it now. But that's going to do it for me today, guys. Thanks for watching. Please make sure you like and subscribe. Cheers to you. I'll see you next time.